Hewitt's bail has been extended. The former tennis champion, who was convicted of rape and sexual assault, will now approach the Constitutional Court. Earlier this month, the Supreme Court dismissed his appeal application. To give us their view on this, we're joined on the line by Vincentia Dlamini-Ngobese from Women and Children Against Child Abuse. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Vincentia. Our understanding was that Bob Hewitt was headed for jail 2 Fridays ago. What prevented him from being admitted immediately?
He had until Friday to hand himself over. Actually, until today, but on Friday, his warrant of arrest, actually, there was a court order to have him arrested pending an application to the Concord. So what happened is that today he was arrested earlier by the investigating officer, but then his defense actually went into to put in a bail application so that his bail he could get bail, because it was not really an extension, it was now a new bail application because he was arrested this morning, but unfortunately he received bail.
I'm still not clear on the exact reasons as to why he was not picked up by police when he didn't hand himself in 48 hours after the court deadline.
This is another clear example of saying that when you, like Bob Hewitt has been, ducking and diving the justice system, and actually, because from the beginning he did not want to face, the criminal justice system. He's currently in that process that he's still, trying he's exhausting whatever that he wants to exhaust, but we know that he's a convicted rapist, and for him to approach the Concord and saying that 6 years is unconstitutional, it's actually ridiculous, because we know that rape of minor children constitutes a maximum sentence of a life imprisonment. But if he feels that 6 years is unconstitutional, it tells you how he has been continuing to be arrogant and shows no remorse and minimizing the effects of his actions, which are sexual abuse of minor children decades ago. And, Bob Hewitt should have just said, admitted to what he did decades ago and actually asked for the court's mercy to say, yes, I have actually violated this women, which were children at that time, and here I am humbly apologizing, or whatever reasons that he wanted to say. But he's always been so arrogant, and because he has money, he can afford top legal representation. But we as an organization, we would like to see this case set a strong message out there and serve as a deterrent to say that doesn't matter whether you have power, status, and money, but you still have to face, the law.
And yet, a court granted him bail today, or a bail extension. On what grounds did the court agree to that?
We are going to get the reasons on Wednesday, because it was, it was already after 4, and then the judge really said that he's going to grant bail, because he said he's in two minds, because he said if he doesn't grant Bob Hewitt bail and he approaches the Constitutional Court, and when he's at the Constitutional Court, and that means already his sentence is not going to be reduced, his jail time is not going to be reduced when he has bail, and also if he doesn't have bail and the Constitutional Court says that it was unconstitutional. So he was also conflicted in his decision, because he says that he needed to actually look at both sides, but then he granted bail, but will give us reasons on Wednesday. And what came out was the fact that there's new evidence, which was the email that the women have communicated amongst themselves, which was not dealt with at court, and it was seen as these women have colluded in taking Bob Hewitt on. But in those emails, nothing suggested anything to say that it was just 2 women who have been violated by the same men discussing about what happened to them. So it would be interesting to see how those emails would actually override the evidence that we have, the love letters that he sent a minor child, which was Twiggy Tolkien at that time, to say that even if these women were discussing about what he did to them, it couldn't be it doesn't change the fact that he has violated those children. We have evidence that has been presented in court to show that he is guilty.
Vincentia Dlamini-Ngobese from Women and Children Against Child Abuse, thank you for your time this evening.